Why is my... This is so dark. I don't know what's going on. Hi, everybody. I'm trying to figure out this. The lights so dark on. Happy Thursday, y'all. Why is it so dark? Oh, well. Can someone let me know on YouTube and Facebook, how is it coming? Is it really dark? It looks really, really dark on my end. I'm not sure why. Hi, TikTok family, Instagram. What did I do with my computer? Okay. Hello. Is it okay? Hold on. I can't see. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe it's on my end. Thank you. Because I could barely. Okay. Maybe the beginning of the is better now. Okay. I don't know. Something. Anything. Hi everyone. Hello, Miss Giwa. How are you? Y'all, I'm telling you. Hi, Miss Peggy. Y'all, this is to tell you how important this night is to me. My child, as we speak, my baby is playing a basketball tournament, and we can actually stream it because it's an away game, like 200 hours away. Because some of us have to pay bills, but we can stream it. It's playing right now, but I gotta be here. Oh, Domingo, like I'm glad to be here, but I was like, basketball tournament, watch it. Live show, but we've got a whole lot to talk about, so here we are. Hi everyone, happy Thursday. Happy first full week of November. Happy post-election results. Everything. Hello, Miss 𝒊𝒎𝒏𝒕. Happy everything. It is what it is. Here we are. Good evening. Hello, Miss 𝒊𝒎𝒏𝒕. How are you? You're welcome, Miss Peggy. I'm telling you, that was because I was like, we didn't do that live on Tuesday, but I gotta watch my kid playing because I told him I was going to watch. I started watching, but yeah, here we are. But it's good to be back. Good. Hello, Miss in the Sanctuary. Hi, Miss Abena. How are you? Thank you. You know, when you have that mom guilt, because now I feel like I'm supposed to be watching my kid. But then this is equally important, right? And I was like, okay, who can I even call to help me record it or something? But but anyway, if you're just joining us for the first time, this is Attorney Abisola Adebola Olale, immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. Doesn't matter what state you live in, we can and do represent immigration clients every state. We even need to even represent more clients in in more states now with what happened, the craziness that happened on Tuesday. Y'all, I'm telling you, I could not function. I was like, I literally could not function. I was like, okay, like, where do we go from here? But this is what I want us to do. I want us to say a word of prayer before we even move forward. Because there's been so many things, said, there's so much panic, worries, concerns, and there's so many, some of my colleagues are in our immigration lawyers group saying, they're going to just move to another country and practice, so there's a lot of, fear and all that, but God hasn't given us a spirit of fear. Fear wants to control, but we refuse to allow power to be to give power to fear. We can't operate on the fear. We operate on the faith. Bible's very clear in Romans. It says that all things work together for our good for those who were called according to his will. Because we are God's children, there's no reason why things will not work together for our good. So I want us to start with a word of prayer, even before we move forward, and just come together and put everything at the feet of Jesus, at the altar of grace and the altar of mercy, knowing that God is the one who is in control of everything. The one thing that is very sure is that he does not make errors. And so, Father, we just thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your faithfulness. We thank you because even the things we may not understand, we know those things will still work together for our good. You are God who makes all things beautiful at your own time. You are God that has the perfect calculation and no errors with you. These results, we thank you because we know you knew the end even before you knew the end from the beginning, even before we could see it in reality. And the fears or the concerns and the worries that we, your children, may have moving forward into this new administration, we ask, oh God, that you will give us a spirit of power and sound mind, that just like you parted the Red Sea for the children of Israel, and you commanded Pharaoh to let your children go, that whoever it is that's going to be in power, you know already, but there's no one that has the ultimate power besides you. Therefore, we know that whatever it is that is before us, you are in control. And because you're in control, we decree and we declare that all things will work together for our good. In Jesus' name, we are believing and operating under faith and not under fear, because fear would cripple you and fear will make you make decisions that you're not thinking through. But we know that if God remains in control, because he does, even in situations that the enemy thinks is going to work against us, it will work for us. And that's the spirit, that's a mindset we must have moving forward. It's not what we expected. It is what we are going to have to live through. And because God knew the end from the beginning, he's not going to allow us to go through something where it's not going to favor us. So we will go through this next 4 years in faith and not fear, knowing and believing that we would have testimonies, even much more testimonies than even we could ever think or imagine. In the midst of adversities, when faith stands out the most, and that's where it is tested the most. And I'm believing and we trust and agreeing in faith that we're even going to have many more testimonies in spite of. And so shall it be. So we can't worry, people. Reality is reality. We got to talk about reality this evening. But reality does not trump, no pun intended, doesn't trump faith and favor. That it doesn't trump God's faithfulness, and it doesn't trump God's goodness and mercy. So I just wanted us to start on, because I know there's a lot of fear and all that, but we can't operate on the fear. We got to operate and work by faith. All right, people. So if you need to contact our office, our contact information is 334-3414. Hello, Finest Shiny. Amen. 334-3414-475. AllAlayLawFirm.com. Let's talk immigration. Let's talk all things aftermath of elections. What do we want to know? I know so many people have many questions, but I'm going to run through a couple of things a few things that I think you should know that we may be expecting, but I'm not saying this to make you afraid. I'm saying this so we are in the know of what to expect. Now, one of the things that has been thrown around there is this so-called, Project 2020, 2025 or whatever. Part of the agenda that they plan to do is to scrap a whole lot of things going on. And in scrapping, let's talk about the very first thing that when I was preparing for the show tonight, because I signed up for a whole lot of updates as an immigration attorney. It's just something I have to do. So I'm just going to put this here on YouTube and Facebook. Let's see, share screen. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. So people, if you've been following this parole in place, and you can see that on my screen if you're on YouTube or Facebook, today, early this evening, the U.S. District Judge made a decision on the parole in place program, keeping families together. The parole in place that was going to help 500,000 people. And unfortunately, yeah, or ironically, 500,000 people that were supposed to have their family members, a whole lot of them actually voted for this guy, which I'm trying to still make it make sense, but it is what it is. The judge struck down this parole in place program, saying that the Biden administration does not have the authority to have the executive order and run this program, that it violates the Immigration and Nationality Act. So, in other words, the plaintiffs, the state of Texas and the other Republican states actually won. So basically, the Biden administration cannot move forward with the parole in place program, unfortunately. So that's it on the screen if you're on YouTube or Facebook, and we'll put it up on our pages so you can go and read the whole. I think it's a 7-5 page decision or thereabout, and read the whole thing yourself. But unfortunately, that's how we're starting. It doesn't mean there's no hope, but for those, because I actually have, I want to say about 7 applications is what we filed. We can't move forward with that. That's what it is, and we got to deal with that. Okay, what we're talking about tonight. So please like, share, follow, subscribe, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Olaleye Immigration. Let's talk immigration, y'all. New administration and immigration. What should we expect? Now, I want to get to as many questions as possible. So let me just run through this. There are a lot of things that may change, most likely will change. One such thing is, I think we're going to go back to the craziness of having the public charge form, the I-944, something that was like a nightmare for everybody. Hold on 1 second. I think we're going to go back to that because that's what he did in his last term. We're probably going to go back to interviews being scheduled in all marriage cases because, the Biden administration started waiving interviews. I think we're going to go back to the norm of having interviews across the board. I think most likely asylum is going to change in some form of way. TPS may that's going to be a hard one for them to alter, but we're just going to see. Prosecutorial discretion probably is going to be going away. So we're trying to get as many in as possible now. I think even USCIS they themselves see that things are going to change. So we're having like almost all my I-751 cases that have been pending back to back. We've seen them being approved without interviews. Knock on wood, I pray that trend continues, but that's what we're seeing, that there's an uptick in employment authorization. Now, another thing, employment authorization, Biden administration started the 5-year employment authorization. We anticipate that it may go back to the 2-year period or even a year, just so that they make people come back and reapply and show that they're still eligible every year or every 2 years. Let's see. So visa bans, he said he's going to bring back visa bans, interviews in marriage cases. I think one of the biggest concern for those, especially those in deportation proceedings or removal proceedings, is this mass deportation he keeps talking about. The truth of the matter, the reality of that is there isn't, keep in mind, and not to deviate for anything, but the president that's had the highest number of deportations was actually President Obama, believe it or not. He had the highest number of deportations. But this guy is planning what he calls a mass deportation, right? Hello, Mr. Kelvin. The truth of the matter is, based on statistics, it takes about anywhere from about $9,000. It costs the United States about $9,500 to about $12,000 in resources to deport one person. Let me say that again. The U.S. government is not going to spend less than $9,500 in order for them to deport one person. So if you think that even if it's a Republican-controlled House or Senate combined, how that's going to make sense for them to spend billions of dollars to get people out of the country. I just don't see how that's going to happen. There's no executive order he wants to put in place that's going to make that happen. Another thing that some of the questions we're getting is, okay, he's saying that people who have kids here, their children would not be automatic U.S. citizens if at least one parent is not an LPR or a citizen. That's an impossibility, and here's why. In order for him, this president-elect, to change the eligibility for citizenship based on birth, that means he's got to change the Constitution. And that he's got to change the Constitution. The Constitution is very clear that anyone that is born on American soil is automatically a citizen. So in order for him to now change that law, which is a constitutional right, he has to change the Constitution, and he cannot do that. In order for there to be an amendment to the Constitution, then it's got to be 3/4 of a vote or something. About, don't quote me on that, but I think 3/4 of the states have to approve that amendment for it to go through. So it's not something that can be. You can't amend a constitution based with an executive order. It doesn't work that way. So that's just something. He's saying a whole lot of stuff. There's some they're practical, that can be possible because he's done those before. And there's some that is just not going to happen because that's what the law is, unless he's going to turn into a dictator. And that, I mean, those of us from countries where that used to be the order of the day, we know what that feels like, and it would be a sad day, really, if that ever happens in this country. So we're yet to see. But the main thing right now really is, if you are eligible, whatever it is that you're eligible to file, please hear me loud and clear. This is not the time to sit on the fence. You've got a window of about just a little more than 2 months before the new administration takes over. There's going to be changes. There's just no way around that. There's going to be changes that we don't have a choice, because we've seen what happened before. And this is someone who knows that he's got just 4 years. He can't run again after those 4 years. So he's going to try the best he can to do as much damage, quote unquote, that he can possibly do, targeted towards immigrants. So if this is not the time to say, no, because most of the time, I can't guarantee anything, but most of the time, whenever there are new policies, it usually is not applicable retroactively. So if you have something that is ongoing, most likely it's not going to be affected by any new policies that's going to come that will not affect those who are going to be filing for the first time. And even citizenship is being approved now. Things are moving fast, because I think, they already know, especially since Tuesday, come January 21st, things are going to change. So this parole in place, for instance, I would expect that the Biden administration is going to appeal. They're probably going to appeal. But guess what? Even if they appeal, come January, those who are going to be filing the appeal will probably be out of a job, because he's going to replace them with people that he's going to be able to control, and they'll probably throw out that appeal. So basically, let's just call it spade a spade. This program is probably dead. So what next? Whatever it is that you qualify for, if you are banking on this program parole in place, let's put it in your I-601A waiver, file that. Or if there's anything else that you qualify for, that's something you need to look into. This is not the time to say, maybe not. No, if you're wanting to file a marriage case, you don't have to deal with public charge requirements now. File what you can, so you don't have to deal with that when all this change. You're not going to say, you know what, I should have known. Don't live in the world of what if. This is what you want to do now. I anticipate that we're going to have a lot of things to be busy about, but you know what? That's life. But no, they haven't been sworn in yet. It's just elections that started. I say all that not to make you afraid. I say all that so that you are prepared and proactive in what needs to be done. And I can't say this enough, if you qualify for something, this isn't about fear. This is about reality, because we've had a taste of it before. I'm from Nigeria, and that was a country he referred to as an S-hole place. visa bans all across the board from Islamic countries and all that. Those are things that happened that we would not be surprised if they're back in place. So that's something that you just need to keep in mind and make sure that you get on board. Talk to an immigration attorney, have your cases evaluated. It's been crazy since Tuesday. I'm telling you, our phones have been going off. I'm like, okay, I need to go to a whole new country but I can't, because this is the work I've dedicated my life to do. And here, like I said, my son is playing basketball right now, but here we are, and I have no regret because this is important, right? He's going to have many more basketball tournaments to play. God willing, I've been to 2 this week already, so Mama can get a pass for one game at least, because he knows, and my kids understand that. My kids know me. They know this is a work that I'm extremely passionate. And my oldest kid, when he sees someone writing a review or something, he will go, "Hey, you go, Sissy lawyer." Yeah, brother, why no, brother? I don't want to. But they know what their mom. They know this is my life, and thank God I don't have babies. They were self-sufficient, so it is what it is. I just want us to win. I want us to win. So please, 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 go ahead and submit your applications, whatever it is that you qualify for. Let's get to as many questions as you have, because I know a lot of people have questions. Please do not repeat questions. Let's try to maximize the time so that we can go through as many as possible. But just keep in mind, those humanitarian programs may be scrapped. Hopefully not. TPS is going to be a hard one, even if though it's going to be a Republican controlled Senate. DACA probably it's not going to even have, because they never really wanted it to come into play anyway. Interviews probably going to come back. This is the time you don't want to skimp on hiring legal services, especially when you're filing a case. If you're someone who's married before and now you have a new marriage, you want to get an attorney in your case, and this is not the period of a DIY. This is you being realistic with yourself and making sure you maximize your chances of winning. So visa ban. Yeah. Okay. So let's go through the questions and see some things may come back to my. Thank you, Ms. Giwa. How's everybody doing? Okay. Let's see. Hello, Mr. Marcus. How are you? We're going to be okay. See, we've gone through immigration. We've gone through a Trump term before, and we came out fine. So the next, and really saying for 4 years, really, because most of the time, every 2 years, we know that the House will change power. They're probably going to screw some stuff up. I was going to say something else, but they're going to screw some stuff up, right? And so that means in the next 2 years, it's probably going to change to majority Democrat controlled Congress. So so really, if you look at it, it's just next 2 years, we'll be fine. There's nothing that you're going to go through, or we're going to go through, that God doesn't already know, and there's nothing we're going to go through that He doesn't already have a safety plan or a perfect plan for us in place. Don't let fear cripple you. That's the one thing you shouldn't give into. I am so sad at this position. Right now, my spouse wrote a letter to USCIS withdrawing her I-130. I called our attorney, inquired about her decision, but he said he is not aware. Sorry to hear that. Our attorney said he can't have a conversation with me because it would be seen as a conflict. He's right. So what's your question? Kumbia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. We'll be glad to have a consultation with you if you want to go ahead and schedule one. The easiest way is to go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com, or send a text message. I think Leah is still on WhatsApp, 334-341-4475. And we'll be glad to have a consult with you to see what you may qualify for. Yes, thank you, Ms. Ben. This is the time to sit down with an attorney and have your case evaluated. This is not a time like 𝐸𝐤𝐸𝐤𝐸𝐸 or 𝐸𝐤𝐸𝐸𝐸. That's okay. I mean, one of my consults this evening, I'm not trying to be funny, but just to give an example, one of my consults this evening, I actually met with them back in December 2022, a marriage-based case, and based on the history of the guy, I told him, like, it's going to be in your best interest to have a lawyer from the beginning because of your history. And it's like, no, it's a real marriage. I'm not doubting your current marriage. I have an issue with your previous record. But they're like, yeah, we can explain that and everything. Okay, fine. Fast forward to today. He scheduled his consultation, met with them again almost 2 years after. Got a really, really nasty note. It was almost a prediction of of what I anticipated in his case because of his FOIA record. But he was like, he felt they were going to do it. So now we've got 30 days to respond to this note that he could have avoided. A lot of what they said could have been avoided from the beginning. So it's always best to just, you're not going to do surgery on yourself. That's the way I always see it, So, that's it. That's my 2 cents. What will happen to Val case? Good question, Queen. Thank you for bringing that. I'm cautious in the sense of, because reality is one thing, yes, but I am a big believer in the power of life and death is in the tongue. That is just the way I live my life every day. I try to choose my words carefully because I don't want to speak negatively into the future. When we get there, if it happens, we'll deal with it. I want to believe that there will be some people in the Congress that understands the necessity of a VAR process and why it should stay. Unfortunately, the person who was the sponsor, the main sponsor of this VAR bill is President Biden. He was the main sponsor. He is leaving with this administration, obviously. And it's going to be a Republican-controlled Congress. I'm hopeful that they will be compassionate somewhat to know why it's necessary to keep that alive. But if they scrap it, then we just wait and see. So I don't want to say it's going to go, and that's why I keep hammering the fact that you've got to file what you qualify for now. It's most of the time they don't apply policies retroactively. Don't wait until it's too late to now say, you know what, I should have, could have, would have. No, do it now. So previously been a minor beneficiary in the 2 cases which were denied. What are my options now as an adult? Sit down with a lawyer, Ashley, to figure out what your options are. I got I-130 for my dad, married son, but for your dad or from your dad. Process is so long. What about if I come to the U.S. and apply asylum? Is it legal and I-130 still process? If you have a visa to come to the United States, you can, but you must have a reason to apply for asylum. It's not just coming in and applying for asylum. But keep in mind, once you come here, and because you are in preference category, you will be required to maintain a status up until your priority date becomes current. Asylum pending is not a status. So if you go out of status and you don't have anything to fall back, you won't still be able to get a green card based on the petition that filed for you. Okay, let's see. Okay. My spouse petitioned for me in 2023. My I-130 was approved this year, but I was previously in immigration proceedings. My attorney filed PD request. DHS to cancel, but DHS did not agree to excise PD. Reach out to U.S. Senator's office to assist to intervene in my case. What are the chances of the case with this new administration? I would try to, knock on wood, I've just never had. I wonder what the facts of your case are, because I've never had any case where an I-130 has been approved where PD has been denied. So is that something in your record that made them, or maybe it's in the states where they just don't, but most likely PD request is not going to be common anymore. I have a friend who is actually a USCIS attorney, works with USCIS as we speak. And I just wanted to, pick his brain about what's going on, obviously there isn't so much you can tell me, but one of the things he said is most likely it's going to go away. a non-U.S. as a DHS attorney with one of the OPLA offices. That's probably going to be one of the things that will be one of the first the mission orders is to try to get the PD out. So, okay, so you're formally an asylum. So were you already ordered removed then? Because if you were already ordered removed, are you looking for them to reopen your case and then terminate the removal order for you to not adjust? Because if your case is still pending, hardly do they refuse that. Most of the time, okay, yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, because if it's still pending, they usually will. But if you've been ordered removed, so you're basically trying to get your case reopened, and then because you've been ordered removed, reopen and then recalendar and then terminate. That's a tougher one for them to usually agree to. Hopefully, you get your senator to agree to it now, because it's just. I want to believe that even if it doesn't work before the new administration takes over, God will show you favor. That's all I can say. But you're probably better off to try to do what you can now before January. I've already filed, and it's 2 years and 2 months. You've already filed. Okay, so Queen, you're talking about a VAD case. Then that's fine. Your VAD as of today, it's taken 41 months. That's what they're averaging. So if you're 2 years and 2 months, you're still way within normal processing time. Okay. What can I do to my son's I-485 application that has been on 3 weeks for decision? 3 weeks to decision for 4 months now. It's a year I filed for him. I don't go by all of that, but I can tell you 485 that I'm spending for a year is still within normal processing time. Let's see. Okay. All right, let's go to. Can you represent someone that lives in Kansas City? Yes. Immigration is federal practice. That means I can represent immigration clients in all 50 states. And talking about representation, in the midst of this craziness, I want to give a shout out to my birthday mate, Epic Movement, whose I-751 was approved without interview today. Was it today? Yeah. Today, I made him cry. Oh, look at God. I kid you not. I just talked about him and he just came on. Trust her guts. See? Let me tell you something. When God is in your story, I literally just said Epic Movements and he just showed up on the screen. Congratulations, birthday mate. I made you cry. I'm sorry. Well, it was good tears. I trusted her. I'm telling you. Yes. And Epic Movement, you probably took about 6 months before you decided to go. And let me say this too. One of the things I told him, which probably scared him, was he said, thank you. You made me cry. You're welcome. One of the things that I told him that made him skeptical was I said, we don't have to wait 2 years before you file for your 10-year green card, because everybody knows you've got to wait 2 years and file your I-751. A lot of people don't even know that you are actually exempt from waiting 2 years if you're not filing with your spouse. If you're filing based on divorce, based on abuse, based on hardship, you literally can file for your 10-year green card the same day you get your 2-year green card. You are exempt from the 2-year waiting period. So his 2-year green card, I believe, is still valid. If I'm not mistaken, I think it doesn't expire till next year. The same thing happened with another client, Miss O. Her 2-year green card expires March of next year. We're still in November. Her case was approved yesterday. We filed her case in January. So we filed her case even before it was a year since she got a 2-year green card. So if you are self-petitioning I-751 self-petitioner, you're not required to wait a 2-year period. You can literally go ahead and file for your 10-year green card if you're not filing with your spouse. So know that, and just in case you doubted that, those are 2 cases, actually 3 cases. Mr. A's case also was approved Friday. His green card, We filed his case last year. He got his Friday. No, okay. So his green card was approved October 2021, expires October 2023. We filed his case April 2023. So there you have it. That's what the policy is. This is not something that can be changed. That's what the law is. So just so you know, if you are in that situation, don't hesitate to do that. So congratulations, 𝒂𝒂💏. And just to answer your question, he is in Texas and I'm in Alabama. So yes, we do represent immigration clients in all 50 states. How would 𝒑 alone take longer to be processed than 𝒑 just from the status? I think that's not the question I can answer. I just got my spouse and son I-130 approved today. Congratulations. What's next for me to do? Please consult with your lawyer. That's the next thing to do. My AOS was returned due to incorrect fee. Do I do the whole process again with new forms? Well, the best thing you can do for yourself is to get a lawyer, first of all. And then keep in mind that as of October 28, 2024, I-485, 765, their new additions. As of October 11, there's a new edition for I-131. So you'd have to know all of that, because if you send in the correct fees and you send in outdated forms, it will be rejected again. Just so you keep that in mind. Disclaimer: general information to anyone's questions, nothing specific to your case. So let's keep going. Okay, let's see. Alrighty. It's 4 years for an I-130 for married sons and daughters on a green card holder too long? No, it's not. It's not at all. Shit. That's like 200 million years, but it's still shorter than 700 years for siblings of citizens. My wife and I have been married over 3 years. She just got a visa. Can she apply U.S. passport? Based on what? I don't think I understand your question. Maybe you want to rephrase it. PIP being denied has actually broken my heart so much. I have 7 clients I got to break the news to, because we've already submitted. We've done the biometrics, everything. Just waiting for them to come back and say, okay, we can go ahead. Yeah. But we can't let this bring us down. We can't. How long after 𝒑 can you file for citizenship? If you get your green card through 𝒑 and your abusive spouse is a citizen, then you can file for citizenship after 3 years, after 3 years of having that green card. If your abusive spouse is a green card holder, then you have to wait for 5 years, unless you join the military. And another thing. So I think I talked about work permits. Keep in mind, if you're close to renew your work permit, get it done now. Because most of the time, most of us are on C8 for asylum, C9 for adjustment status. They're for 5 years. Most likely, they're going to change that back to a year or 2 years. So if you're coming up on filing for your new case, filing for a renewal, this is the time you want to do it, so you take advantage of having that 5-year work permit. Like I said, once you file your application, they don't have policies that are going to be applied retroactively. It's going to be for future new cases. Get in your applications now. So, and my name is Saul. Can I get help with applying for advanced parole, or is it too late? If you need to, as a DACA recipient, as long as you have a reason that falls within the grounds, then you want to do it now. Okay. I've been granted asylum August 26, 2024. Congratulations. Should I file for asylum now and still wait the 1 year? You mentioned, should you file for green card now? That's another policy. Hopefully they don't change that. The new policy requires you to have been physically present for 1 year before your I-45 can be granted. It's just been 3 months. I usually wait about 6 months. That's usually my comfort level. There's one that we're starting this month, but we just started already. It's going to be 1 year since they got their asylum status coming up in March. So I know that I'm not going to send their, for instance, one of my strategies is not to send their medical examination reports. So we're just going to send the 45 and work authorization and refugee applications, because if we don't send the medicals, they're going to send us an RFE. We're going to buy ourselves time about 80 days. That's going to push us really into that March where they hit that 1 year, and then we can do that. So that's the way I think. So in your case, you still have a whole, almost another 9 months before August of next year. But the thing is, you want to file in before anything changes, right? So maybe wait till January, maybe the week before the new administration is sworn in, and file it, and then don't send in your medicals, and hope that it pushes up until close to August of 2025. Let's see. What about pending asylum cases? Should we be worried? My concern is just that they probably would want to hire more immigration judges to have all, because I have a case, for instance, it's not a strong case at all. It's been on administrative closure for 4.5 years. And we are happy because my client is able to work and all that. He's doing great. We are 9 months away from his 10-year mark where he's going to be able to apply for cancellation removal. I was hoping that Democrats is going to win, but so I don't know. I really don't know. I'm hoping that nothing happens, because once he hits the 10 year, then we can switch over to another relief. What's going to happen? I really can't say to asylum cases. Keep in mind, this is the same guys that came in and said last in, first out. So if you filed your asylum application, the whole idea of making sure they got interviews for those who were just filing was so that he can prevent them from getting work authorization. So they may want to push more judges and get cases out, and that can help him and his administration get into that mass deportation they're trying to do. That's just the truth of the matter is, all of us, no matter the immigration attorney, these are all, besides what he has said he's going to do, some of them is ridiculous. He can't change eligibility for citizenship. He can't do that. Even his own people would rule against him. That's a constitution. But visa bans, policies, all of those things he can. But still, all of us immigration attorneys this is all speculation, because we're just all waiting to see what happens. But it's not going to be out of the norm if he goes back to what he did back then, and it's amplified times 10. So let's see. Okay, what was the Nigerian visa ban? We are waiting for I-130 to be approved. The Nigerian visa ban was that they weren't giving visas to Nigerians and people from Islamic countries, and that wasn't before COVID even hit. And when COVID hit, it was even worse. Since he said we're from it, and it's an asshole country. Illumi. I mean, I'm laughing because if you can cry, you laugh. And then he restricted, work visas. There was a lot of restrictions. And, it's easy that we've forgotten because we've had another 4 years of ease, quote unquote. But those horrors come back in your memory when you know that that's the same person that's coming in. And he's got a new set of people who really actually align to his beliefs. So, but I don't think he's not going to have the power to prevent immigrant visas from being issued. So that we just have to wait to see, really. So please try not to repeat questions because I'm seeing a lot of repetitive questions, and it just does not help to. Can I still file for citizenship? We are separate, not divorced. If you're not in married or union, then you don't qualify based on 3 years. That's that. Okay. With Trump being in office and having a pending I-485 application, should I be worried? So just to put things in perspective, being worried probably is not. No. First of all, he's not God. That's the most important thing. Number two, it still depends on the officer who's going to interview you. Number three, like I said, most of the time policies are not retroactive. So as long as your case is pending, I don't see them saying you have to go file a public charge application or whatever the case may be. It's going to be for those who are going to be filing for the first time. Hopefully your case gets adjudicated before then, but I don't see any reason why you should be worried about anything. It still depends on the strength of your case anyway. Do you represent clients in all 50 states? Yes. Okay, let's see. Will a Nigerian green card holder be allowed back in after he takes over? Oh, no, your green card holder. There's no reason why they're going to stop you prevent you from coming back in. Anything about how long something is taking, please go on USCI's website and put in processing times. It will tell you how long an application is taking. Can we still travel with parole? Generally, yes. But if you have a lawyer in your case, please talk to your lawyer before you travel. That's usually what I require from my clients because you just never know. Everybody's case is different. Even green card holders get stopped at the border, let alone people who have pending cases. But generally, yes, I don't see any reason why that should be stopped. Blessed child, they are repeating questions because you're not answering. And the more reason why I would not answer your question, because it's very simple. We have a topic, put questions in the comment section. Then we get to questions. It doesn't mean it's not being answered. I don't understand why people are this way. I really sometimes okay. My friend, okay, here we go with friends. My friend, a lady married, had a kid, and then divorced. Can she still file for citizenship based on what? Does she have a green card? If she has a green card, then if she's divorced, she's going to wait for 5 years. I mean, based on what? Citizenship is just not what is the basis of filing for something? Okay. No, sometimes it's just frustrating because you say like, oh, we get the questions at the end, and then someone still says you're not answering questions. All right, let's keep going. Was just searching for your name now. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. It wasn't me. Hello, Mr. Israel. I hope it's a good thing. Been looking forward to just being here. Oh, thank you, Miss Dana. Someone sent me an email today and like I'm looking forward to the live show tonight. And I don't have any question, but I just want to have someone encourage me. And that really moved me. I mean, listen, I get up each morning and I have to encourage myself because there's a whole there's a whole lot of stuff going on around us that if you don't set your mind right when you once you and start and talk to God and just make sure, because there's a whole lot you're going to be hit with throughout the day. Did I see this coming on Tuesday? No, but it got to a point. It's like, ah, can you money? I don't think I slept till, I think I was up till about 5. I'm not even kidding you, y'all. Because I could not believe, I mean, my head was spinning. I mean, I was just like, what? But then, I went into a mode of prayer, because that's 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. That's the most powerful weapon you can ever have. That's all we have. And just know that before this happened, God already knew the end. He already knew the outcome. So there's nothing that God is a God of perfect calculation. There's nothing he miscalculates. Nothing is an error with God. It is pre-planned. It's supposed to happen the way it happens. It's just for us to know that in spite of whatever it is, we're going to come out victorious. And that's why we do this, so that we're coming together and encouraging one another, knowing that there's nothing. Don't let, and that's the thing, everybody, we've had so many calls on my current clients are emailing like, y'all, I have 2,700 something emails. It's, and I understand, but I was telling one of my clients, like, keep in mind, I'm a human being too. I need I need someone to calm me down sometimes too, because I'm a single lady. I don't live with anyone besides my kids. So there's really no one in my house to talk to that works. The people I live with, they're freeloading roommates. That's what I call them, aka my kids. But I get it. But don't let fear. Don't let fear take over. If nothing, don't let fear take over. So I'm glad we can come together, and thank you, Miss Savannah. Boom, a notification that you're online just popped up. Thank you. Thank you, Nilechi. It's a dress. Yeah, I think I haven't worn this dress. I've had this dress since before TJ was born, and TJ is 14. So there's some dresses that you have kids and you can't fit in it anymore, and then you feel like, why not going to lose some weight too? And then we only try, and boom, you're like, what? And I was like, okay. So, because I don't know, my mom's fish and okay, the next thing is the weight is back. So what can I say? So I haven't worn it in a long time. Hi, Miss Adipa, how are you? Okay. Let's see. Thank you, Miss Santon. Yeah, everyone was, because I had court this morning. Everyone was shocked, like, because everyone is already black or brown or blue. So I'm like, you're wearing color? Yes, I am. It's fall too, so why not? Let's see. Hey, mama, my mom is on. Y'all say hello to my mama. Trying not to miss anyone's question. We go fortified with the word of the Lord. He says, fear not. Amen. That's it. Preach. Exactly. That's it. It will surely, yes, favor us. Yes, find a shandy. Okay, let's see. Ask. I know we have so many questions, so please ask. That's what we're here for. Your concerns. Let's see how we can address those. Yeah, we're praying for something, something to give, some good news. The PIP. I was like, okay, come on now, God, we need some positive news. Thank you, Mr. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Mr. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒂𝒏𝒕 says, everybody calm down. We can't be operating on fear. Let's have faith. Faith over fear, people. If they deport everybody, who's going to work for them? Very good question. Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Good question. I don't know, because truth be told, immigrants we work our butts off. That's just the truth. Who's going to work for them? Nobody. So the thing is, see, they're going to make a whole lot of noise, but in reality, my mom told me that back in the day, that in the 80s, they literally were begging people to come to the U.S. Like my mom, and I think if I'm correct, when she said that you could bring Naira to the U.S. and exchange it here. That's how much it needed people to come. So this country is built because of immigrants. They can't function without immigrants. That's the one thing that's very clear. So, because if you don't have to mass deport anybody law, do you know the amount of detention centers they have to build? And I mean, come on, but we'll see. What about if we have a pending N400? Pending cases, I think, is just safer to have a case pending than to be starting one once they're sworn in. Will he eliminate PD? Most likely, because he's going to appoint a new DHS secretary, and the current DHS secretary is the one that reinstated PD. So he took it away during his first term. What do you think about employment-based immigration? What do you mean? What do I think? What is the question about that? If you filed I-130 based and spouse who is a permanent resident at the time I filed, but now a citizen, what other forms do I need to file right now? Sit down with your lawyer, book your crown. That's what lawyers do. So you're not going to make errors on what to submit. What about pending vacancies? Anxiety is on the rise. You cannot let your anxiety, you cannot let fear win. I think I need to start a group, Facebook group, so that on motivation and inspirational, people pop in to have someone pray with you or something, because you cannot operate. If you operate in fear, you are going to drain yourself. Your health will physically suffer. And that's the last thing you do. It's when fear creeps in, because we all have moments that make us afraid. That's where you put on your faith cape and decide that this is a garment of prayer right now. You cover yourself with prayer, cover everything that concerning you with prayer. Speak to that fear. Speak faith. Speak victory over that fear. Speak confidence over that fear, knowing that there's one thing I've always said, and I keep saying it, and that's where I live my life. But one of the ways I refuse to believe that God will start something that he cannot finish. It's impossible that he has brought us from a mighty long way for us to fail in the foreign land. God has not brought us from a mighty long way to fail in the foreign land. It's impossible. There's a reason. We all have purpose lives. And that means that there is no way we're going to leave this earth without the purpose being fulfilled. It doesn't matter what the plan of the devil is. It doesn't matter how hard the heart of Pharaoh is, quote unquote. It is what God directs, that what he instructs, that's going to prevail. For all you know, even in spite of this, with all these plans and all that, God is probably just sitting back and laughing at them, that yes, he's going to use this to show that there's nothing man can do when it comes to his own children. In spite of your plans, there's no plan that trumps because there's no other word to use, God's plan for you. There's nothing anyone wants to put in place that's going to overpower and supersede the plan of God. It's impossible. If anything, it's so that God's glory will be revealed, how he's going to embarrass and disgrace the enemy, that you will see them crumble and fall at your feet. That's what it is going to be. So fear not. I'm out of status in my house and has a green card. Can you file for me? He can file for you, but if you're out of status, you cannot file a green card application until he becomes a citizen. Any advice for a newcomer with a visitor visa who intends to stay back? The first and most important advice is sit down with an immigration attorney to figure out what options you have. What does it mean when USCIS says your AOS is pending and not being worked on? It may mean a lot of things. It may mean meaning you don't have a visa number available if you're an immediate relative. It may mean they are doing background checks. There's a whole lot. It can mean a variety of stuff. Thank you, Finest Jenny. I just came in. I saw you, Epic Movements. Sorry to be late. No, you came in at the right time. Epic Movements. Aren't you glad that you finally took the leap of faith? And now you've got a 10-year green card and you don't have to deal with the fear, right? He says, guys, I trusted her and she knows what she is talking about. I think so. I think so. So sometimes I'm like, oh. Trump is most likely going to bring back I-944. Yeah, most likely. Hated that phone with passion. I would rather go sit down in the dentist chair and pull all my teeth out and tell them to close my gap, which is never going to happen. Talking to a gap, my kid is going to tell me like, hey, are you planning to close the gap? No, the gap is older than y'all combined. So then to do the I-944 public, it was just, but it's coming back. If anything, if they tell me to take a gamble on something that I'm for sure he's going to bring back, that's going to be it. Public charge form. It's coming back. So if you can file your green card applications, marriage-based cases now, this is the time you want to do it. Chris K, you tried to reach out, but no response. I mean, when did you try to reach out to us? Because that's the one thing I would tell you. Someone's going to reach out. If it's during normal business hours, after business hours, if you go on my social media girl, Lydia, who does, she usually stays with me because she takes notes during my live. So you may not get any response from her on WhatsApp or anything. But if you go on our website, that's the fastest way you can schedule your consultation there. Thank you, Epic. How much is your consultation fee? 30 minutes, 140, 45 minutes, 210, 1 hour, 250. Can you take up a pending VAR case for? Can you take up a pending VAR case for 3 years? I don't ever take on a case that is pending without doing a FOIA request. I don't ever take on because I don't know what's in your folder. Even if you have your complete file, I have to get your file direct from USCIS. I don't ever take a chance of flying blindly, especially when it has to do with VAR cases. So yeah, we have to do that first, unless based on the consultation. Well, the first step is to have a consultation with me. Unless based on the consultation, it's the only thing you've ever filed. You have a complete copy of your file, which then I can tell you, okay, this is going to be my fee to review the file because I'm not going to review your file for free. And based on that, depending on, okay, if it's a case where I don't expect to have an RFE or something, it just depends. And that's what we figure out. That's why we have a consultation. But I can't tell you whether I can take, but my policy generally is I don't take over any pending cases until I've done a FOIA request. There are some exemptions depending on that specific case. And that's decided when we have a consult. Epic Movement says, let me testify. She did a thorough representation. I was too shocked that I was approved without an interview. She understands us as immigrants. When I tell you that he was, he was so scared. And he kept asking me, but my card isn't expired. It's just 1 year. Like, can I file? Yes. Like, do you really think I'm going to put you out there and risk the whole, like, he's like, okay. And then he's like, I don't think I want to start. Then he'll come again the next week, like, okay, I'm ready. I'm like, make up your darn mind, because now you but I could understand. I mean, I was patient because I understood that this is a situation with things, and but here we are. When did we file? Is it even a year? I don't know. But I think it was sometime last year. Can't remember. But thank you. Okay. Can special juvenile and marriage-based file run concurrently? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking concurrently, because SIJ is a separate petition from marriage. So what do you mean run concurrently? Yeah, so you're right on that, financial, but I'm not even understanding what you mean concurrent. What do you mean concurrently? In what sense? My work permit expires in May of 2025. Should I put in application from now? You can't file earlier than 180 days before it expires. So as soon as you hit that 180 days, which you should hit by next month, then you can put that in. Okay, let's see. Okay, if the mother is married and the children are 19 and 20, can mom's marriage-based case file wrong with children's special? That one has nothing to do with the other. The children's SIJ case petitions are their own self petitions. That has nothing to do with the mother's case. Then I mean, you don't even want to have anything to do with each other. So that has nothing to do with the one. Has nothing to do with the other one. Thank you, Miss Nelechi. What's your view on AB1 after inauguration of? I don't know. Um, I think one of the things that they keep hammering on is that immigrants are taking their jobs. So he may try to make it, or there may be training for the officers to make him even much more hard. I mean, right now, RFEs on the increase in RFEs on EB2 and RW3 has actually made me put a pause on taking new cases. That's how bad it is. I anticipated. I mean, if if it gets worse than it is right now, which it probably will, that's going to be that. But that's going to be one thing that I probably would anticipate. Yeah. Well, we just all have to wait and see. A friend was just denied VAWA based on fraudulent documents submitted by the presumed lawyer, whom at the end was not actually a licensed lawyer, but got denied because she signed the acknowledgement. So, what's your question? Unfortunately, yeah, because she's responsible for that. Be rightly branded. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Because sometimes this is a labor of love, and some comments you make it look like you owe them an obligation to answer a question. I don't. This is a labor. I mean, a lot of my colleagues don't even bother doing this. You will have to pay them to get this information we share here. So, yeah, but you can let stuff like that bother you. Fear is on everyone's mind. Yes, yes. Was I? I mean, I couldn't function on Tuesday. I'm telling you. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to miss the results coming in. So I knew there was no how I could focus on doing the live show and with everything that was going. It was just too much tension, and I remember driving to work to school yesterday morning. And he was like, "Mom, you're so quiet. What's going on?" I was like, "Yeah, nothing." Because is it the elections? Is that going to affect your clients? I was like, well, so yeah, but yeah. Applying with my spouse, USCIS asked for an RFE I-751 sent in November 30. You mean October 30? Waited 2 years and sent them updated documents. Will I hear something from them before its inauguration? I don't know. I couldn't answer that question. Laughing at freeloading roommates. Isn't that what kids are? Y'all don't call your kids freeloading roommates. I call mine freeloading roommates because that's what they are. How many of your kids pay bills? Because especially when I come in and then they'll open my fridge, like just open it and then stand in front of the fridge. I mean, they want someone know, and then they scan the fridge like, okay, none of the two of them paid for anything in that fridge. But the way they scan it, like, what did she put in here for us? Like, I knew I should put the logger mo, come on, logger. It's a dress. I'll put the picture up later, Miss Peggy. I don't want to miss anyone's question. I know we're past time. I'm just trying to get to as many questions as possible. I know we have a whole lot in our mind. So, I think I skipped. I don't want to skip anyone's question. Oh, hold on. Let me see. I will try to. Can you explain what does intend to deny mean when someone gets that mail, and what can they do to fix that issue? They can sit down with a lawyer, first of all. I think I'm probably missed some people's questions, and sorry if I did. Can a citizen father file for son who is married with kids? Yes. Citizen can file for any child, married, unmarried, undermarried, overmarried, whatever. Faith over fear. Are you able to accept payment arrangements for retaining? It depends on the kind of case and depends on my fee. I'm on the marriage-based filing. Can my kids get special juvenile if they qualify? My brother-in-law was begging to come to Florida as pharmacy. They needed him badly. Yeah. Covered, Eric. Thank you. Do you have any advice for anyone who's currently on their first F1 OPT visa? Well, OPT is not a visa; it's an F1. But what do you mean advice? I'm not sure what you're asking. Yes, we can't just give up. We've come too far. So the 27 was today. I sang, I must tell Jesus because I said, God, I leave it to you. And I got my call today. Don't let fear cripple. And the funny thing is, Epic Movement hasn't emailed me in God knows how long. He doesn't bug me. You know, gotta love clients like that. And out of the blue, he just emailed me about something completely different from his immigration case. Out of you know, and not knowing that God had had some great news for him later in the day. So yeah, they just need to. If I were this administration, I would just tell all the officers to approve all they can and just get it out. You know. Thank you, Ms. Adipa. She says, remember, guys, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, which includes America, and God rules in the affairs of man. Pray, pray, pray. That's it. No, that's it. That's it. Oh, September 7th. Epic. Okay. Yeah. Mm. Thank you, Finance Jenny. Yes, you're right. Yeah. What you would thank you, Miss Peggy. Aku Trump was his lawyer. Ela mesmo só lá. I feel Aku Trump. No. Okay, let's see. My work. Okay, I already answered that. Can I get constitution an appointment to consult with you tomorrow, please? I don't know if I have anything left for tomorrow. If it's going to be next week. I just submitted my application last week based on parents' petition. Is there anything to worry about? Petition, don't worry. If you're going to worry, then don't pray. If you're going to pray, don't worry. Can a spouse file for your kids over 18 years old? As long as you got married to the spouse before your kids turned 18, but they have to be under the age of 21. Okay. All right. We are almost an hour and a half. So, y'all, I think we will try to get in more because we're still going to have more questions next week. Whatever it is that we can, whatever information I still can get on this issue as we're moving forward and planning ahead, we'll be glad to share that with everyone. Do you handle K1 fiancé visas, initial applications? Yes, I do. Eddie, yes. Can someone apply for citizenship if they have a misdemeanor? Depending on what kind of misdemeanor it is. Some misdemeanors can be crimes involving moral turpitude or even aggravated felony as far as immigration is concerned. But so it's still down to learn and discuss that. Okay, so but before we go this evening, we stayed way more. Just remember that there's no one who is in charge or in power, in office, that was not created from God's breath. There's no one that he didn't breathe into existence. No one created themselves. There's no one who wants to make himself or herself God that was not created by the one and only God. So there's no reason to fear. It's easier said than done. And people like us still into citizenship, okay. Only affect by citizenship no out that they're naturalized. We've read it all. But the thing is this: God, there's no gift God has given you that man can take away from you. If God has given you that gift, there's no will be anybody who is the person who wants to come and derail or undo what God has completed. If you are here in this country, there's a reason for that. You have to be proactive in your own case. Yes, you've got to take the steps to improve your to help yourself and file what you can file, but not out of fear, but out of knowing that, okay, you know what the law is now. You don't know what the next 4 years is going to be. But regardless of what laws that man wants to put in place the next 4 years, God's laws would always win. So there's nothing anyone wants to do that is going to be to your detriment when there is a God. And then when I say there is a God, that is one true God who has brought you a mighty long way. If he has brought you this far, he's not going to forsake you and he's not going to stand by and let you fail. But the thing is, God does not operate with fear. So you cannot come before him with fear. You've got to come because the currency God deals with is faith. You can't buy anything from heaven with fear. If you want something from God, you've got to operate. You've got to give him his own currency, which is faith. And that's the thing. Faith requires that you don't know what's going to happen, but you trust that because this currency, you've exchanged it with him. You've given him that faith. You're going to get what you have, what your heart desires, because the plans he has for us is going to give us an expected end. So we cannot operate in faith. If you listen, I'll be glad to pray with whoever it is. Reach out. I have a crazy busy schedule. I always say, I'm a child of God first. I'm a mama, and then I'm a lawyer. Because like my teacher's dad, he's in a tournament and all that. His dad was like, you know what? I'll get him tonight, and I'll just keep him at my place. You've done enough this week, because I've just been like. Back and even my mom was like, it's already time. And so his dad was like, I'll keep him tonight. That alone, knowing that, okay, I don't have to get up very early because my kid goes to 6 a.m. practice, so I'm off sometimes 5:30, like in between 2 a.m. But because I'm off most of the time because I'm doing this work. And in spite of that, being a mom, a full-time mom, and single mom for the matter, but I thank God I have a co-parent who is very, very involved, and God bless him for that, especially in African Europe, that's a miracle. But we thank God. But this is when you find your calling, we thank God for that. And so even if we have to just send me an email, because that's what a lot of my clients have done in this past week, and I just respond like, listen, we can't operate in fear. We've got to believe that God is going to do He hasn't, there's nothing I've seen that God starts that he cannot finish. And so this is looking in a different way. This may actually be a way to even have God's glory even shine even much more. That in spite of this a mountain that we think is so big that cannot be climbed, we actually triumphed more than we thought, higher, greater, and beyond expectations. So let's agree in faith that things are going to work together for our good. And regardless of what comes our way, it will work together for our good. And we will come together rejoicing with one another and giving all the glory back to our Creator. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.